Hey, Internet. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to introduce the newest ride in the stable, the Co-op brand. That's the REI house brand. This is the DRT 3.1 full suspension mountain bike. It is 29-inch wheels. This is the medium frame, and we'll do a quick walk around. Now, we just brought her home, so it's still a little shy, but we'll have a look anyway. So starting down here in the crank, we have pretty much a fully SRAM drivetrain. I do have the Shimano pedals on it, of course. So the 540 didn't come with pedals, so I added those on there when they were there. RockShox brand rear shock, and quite an interesting multi-point pivot system here. Now, I have had a full suspension bike before, but the last time I bought a full suspension bike, it was a 1999 model. It wasn't quite this high tech, and all the cables were exposed. So you can see here we got some of the cable routing through the frame. That's pretty wild. Oh, hey, Simba's out here too. Of course, he's making sure that we do a proper review. And the guy at the shop here was remarkably helpful with showing me how to set this up. He spent a lot of time with me getting the damping the way I like it, because I ride some pretty consistently bumpy trails and not a lot of big drops. So I don't really need it soaking up a lot of big drops. I need it soaking up those 4, 5, and 6 inch kind of roots and boulders. So he really was awesome helping me set that up. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with REI in general. In fact, I've taken, I think, 4 or 5 different bikes there for servicing, and this is the second bike I've purchased from them. So, REI is, a co-op brand, no kidding. But because of that, the people you're buying the equipment from, they're owners in the company, as are basically everyone who shops here, because you buy a co-op membership. Pretty impressed with the build quality. The welds are amazingly beautiful. You can see everything is just really smooth. Down here, I guess what would be a rear triangle. I think that they still call it a rear triangle, even though it's got a pivot point on it. And nice 1x12 drivetrain. So you look at the back, and I looked at this bike in the shop when this was new, and this is basically last year's model now. I got it on super secret clearance discount. To be honest, I can't believe I got out of there with the deal I got. I almost felt guilty. But when I first saw this thing in the shop, I guess almost 8-10 months ago, I thought the size of the rear sprocket on its low gear was just comically huge. And testing it out in the parking lot, I couldn't imagine ever getting down into that gear. Maybe this one, but never this one. I mean, maybe back where I used to bike ride up in real mountains, you get down into that kind of gear. But down around here, I bet you I don't ever get out of that gear. Of course, you're buying a bike from a bike store, so they're going to make you walk out of the store with the reflectors. So, you know, those are going to have to go. Shimano rear brakes. Nice. Oh, I guess the front brakes are probably Shimano as well. Oh, that's interesting. Co-op brand seat. I actually haven't ridden on this thing more than about 200 feet, so not going to have a whole lot to say about what it rides like. But I did look at this one for quite a while, and the price dropped to just over 2,000 about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. Like $22,064. I don't know where they came up with these prices, but anyhow, I just about jumped on it, and you kind of got busy with taking care of injured family members, so never even really got back to looking at it. And then just kind of sat down at the computer the other day, opened it up, and saw that it was on like clearance and sale. I think it was like 1556. So if you can hear that wind out there, we're having winds up to around well, 35 sustained, they said, with gusts up to 65. So that's miles an hour. But and it's quiet though. You don't hear planes landing. They're like, no way. So, you know, at the original price this was at, was just no way. Even at its 2064 or whatever it was still, not quite the right kind of value. But when it came down to 15 something, it was, there you go. Now you're at the right price point, because I was comparing this against a couple other bikes, and so this was being compared against a specialized, I think it was a stump jumper, Kona process, and something called a spectral canyon. And they were all kind of the same kind of price point, just under 2,000, between 1,500 and 2,000 roughly, and full suspension, 1x12 like this. But this kind of came right in the middle of the price point. So compared to like the Specialized, which is a little bit cheaper, this has kind of got a little bit nicer components on it. The Spectral was like 1,800. Does have a nicer fork. I would say probably equivalent drivetrain, maybe a little bit higher spec on the drivetrain. It's around 1,800. And the Kona was not bad. It was like, I think like 14, something like that. So it was a little bit cheaper than this, but the components weren't quite near what this is. So really happy with the level of components on this for the price. Can't wait to get back out there and hammer out some of them trails. All right, we've got both bikes now, the Death by Steel and the new Co-op DRT 3.1, pretty much side by side, parallel. Now, anyone who remembers the video on the Death by Steel, this is an older bike. So I think in the video I actually said it was a lot newer than it is. This is from 2010, so it goes back. The 29er original kind of style. Basically what they did is they basically made the tubes long enough to fit the wheels. Let's see what the difference is now with a modern 29er. And this is a full suspension too, so we'll expect to see some differences. So right off the top, you can see right now there's already a difference in the standover height. Basically the same, but what they've done halfway down near the bottom of the seat tube, they've got the seat tube taking a gigantic turn. What's that, about 20 degrees? I can't quite tell. 15 degrees maybe. So what that's doing is it's raking the back end out. So it's lengthening the back end of the bike, allowing the bike to be a little bit longer, a little bit lower. Look at the front here though. You can see the difference in the angle of the head tube. That Death by Steel is considerably more vertical than the head tube on the DRT Co-op bike. But look at the length here, the difference. Now we've got the front here just about matched. So we're roughly halfway through this floor tile. And the Death by Steel looks like it's what's that, about 2 inches shorter, maybe an inch shorter. Come out to the back, and again you can see it's a massively longer bike. It's not just perspective, it's a massively longer bike. So it's longer, same ride height, quite a bit lower top tube. Can be pretty interested to get this thing out onto the road and out onto the trails, I should say, and let the rear suspension soak up all those rotten roots and rocks that have been rattling my frame for the past couple of years. Well, we'll see you out there, and when I get back, I will do another post-ride review. Until then, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, Internet. Have an awesome night.